The first set of screens on a Model 55 is the auto mode screens. So first, to explain, the machine has the option to be in auto mode or manual mode. The way that is defined by what group of screens you enter. For example, if we enter the auto mode group of screens, the machine is in auto mode. If I leave that set of screens and go to manual mode, the machine is now in manual mode. If I leave this set of screens again and go to, for example, diagnostics, the machine will stay in manual mode, but it only stays in manual mode because we were last in manual mode. If, for example, I back out and go to auto mode, back out of this set and go to diagnostics, the machine is still in auto mode. So again, it's based off of were you last in the auto mode screens or the manual screens. Now going to auto mode, the first screen you're always taken to is the cycle configuration. On this screen you have the cycle counter that lets you know how many times the machine has cycled or produced parts. You have two sets of parameters that you can adjust: the overall cycle time for the machine and the inject time. Cycle time, so when the machine starts its cycle, to even explain what cycle time is, the carriage will come down and make contact with the mold. As soon as the cycle starts, the machine will start counting up on this cycle timer. Once it reaches 20 seconds, the cycle is considered done. So to explain the cycle in more details, the nozzle comes down, makes contact with the mold. After contact has been made, the injector will come down and push material into the mold. As the injector starts to move down, that's when the inject timer will start. So for 6 seconds in this example, the injector will push forward. After 6 seconds has expired, the injector will stop pushing forward, but the carriage will stay against the mold until the cycle timer has expired. Once the cycle timer has expired, the carriage will pull off of the mold, and then the cycle will be finished as soon as the carriage reaches the top upper travel switch for the carriage. An option on the machine is also decompress, where we can turn that on or off. Decompress is an option that's available for recovery. So when the screw starts to spin to pull material from the hopper into the barrel, the injectors will start to lift up, making room for as that material comes in. In essence, the new material is turning the barrel into a hydraulic cylinder, lifting the injection cylinders up off of the lower position of the injector. Eventually you will hit your limit switch that defines the shot size for the machine. But that material inside that barrel is under pressure. And so some people like to have an option to decompress the material. If this option is turned on after you've reached the position for shot size, the injectors will lift the screw a little bit more to a secondary limit switch right above the first limit switch for shot size, which will give enough space for the material to, in essence, decompress. Another option underneath auto mode is your heater settings. So this lets you turn your heaters on or off. It also lets you see the status of every zone. So what's the current temperature for the rear barrel, front barrel, and nozzle, as well as what's the target temperature or set point for each one of those zones. You also get status on whether that zone is at temperature. If it's at a lower temperature, in other words, if the barrel is too hot, you'll get that status, or if we're set too high, you'll get a status that you're cold. If there's a fault for that zone, you'll also get a status that the zone is at a fault. A third option besides being on or off for heaters is what we call standby. If you turn that on, what happens is the heater, or all three zones, go to an alternate set of set points that's lower than the primary set points the machine was running at. The purpose of standby is if an operator has to go on break or take a lunch and you don't want to turn the machine off completely, but you do want to go to a lower set temperature, the operator can put the machine in standby, and so the machine will cool down a little bit, but not all the way down. Thus, you're not going to have to take longer after a break to get back up to temperature and start running. To turn standby off, as simple as just hit the on or turn it off and back on. If I hit F4 while in auto mode, I will see the list of my screens I have available under auto mode. Again, there's only 2 in this machine where we have cycle configuration, barrel heaters, and if mold heat was installed, we would have an option to do mold heat, and that screen would be very similar to the barrel heaters.